Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dr. Radio. Hello, this is Dr. Carol Francis coming from you today in the middle of April 2012. For those of you that are listening in an archived version, it is about Braco. I've had so many different requests of listeners associated to the Braco gazing experience, and they're listening to the long-range, unedited version of all the interviews that I did that went over 3 hours at the recent Braco Gazing in Los Angeles area, March 2012. And since I've had so many requests to really hear those interviews and clip them together, I'm going to give you a few or some of those interviews each some tonight, and hopefully a whole lot more as we keep going along. Now, what exactly is Braco? Braco is a gazer from Croatia, and he comes from a mentor who was a healer, a psychic, and so forth and so on. I don't know if you believe in things like that. Obviously, if you've come to the Braco Healing Gaze site here associated to this interview, you have some interest in trying to figure out what this is all about. So Braco stands, gazes throughout the audience, trying to make some eye contact with each member, and each member gazes back. And through that experience, which doesn't really last a long time, 7 to 10 minutes, people have experienced healings. Relatives have picked pictures that they've taken with them to the gazing of relatives have experienced healing. It's an interesting phenomenon. I don't know exactly what to make of it, but I'm here to research it and to bring it to you. These people are enthusiastic, heartfelt, sincere. It was really quite a treat being able to interview them. So now I'm going to play for you some of those interviews and record, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Everybody, this is Jane Siebert.
Hello, I'm Jane Siebert. I am one of the producers of the Braco America events and Braco TV live streaming.
What is your story about the authenticity of this, your experience? Because you are so invested in the sharing of this. But what brings you to such confidence that this is truly a path of healing?
I personally, just in shooting the documentaries, 3 now documentaries, I have seen countless stories of people talking about everything from being able to walk or to see or to hear, relationships repairing that they thought were way beyond repair, physical healing in myself and in my family as well.
What would you say about yourself?
Well, I had a severe allergies. The first year that we moved to Hawaii, there was over 200 inches of rain on our farm. And I'd come from dry Southern California, so it was a shock to my system, and I could hardly breathe. I was coughing so bad I was throwing my back out. So when I was shooting the beginning of the Gaze of Light in Hawaii, before Braco was even on the island, when Angelica Whitecliffe was just doing Skype gazing sessions to get people introduced to Braco, I was having to drink gallons and gallons of water while I was shooting so I wouldn't cough during the takes. But I was holding the intention for my family to feel ease and grace. My dad had gone into a hospice, but within 2 weeks, my dad was, feeling better, and then within a month, he was out of hospice.
Amazing.
My stepfather, who couldn't walk anymore, who had taken to bed because he was bone on bone, he should have had a double hip replacement surgery years before. He was in so much pain, he had gone to bed. He could no longer use his cane, his walker, or his wheelchair. He was just in pain. And within a month, he was walking. And he was very skeptical, too. And he said when he came to meet Braco, since he's my family, he got to meet Braco, and he said, I don't believe in God, but I believe in you. And so this was a very skeptical person who wanted nothing to do with any gazing session, but I held him in my heart while I was shooting. And that he said that was the only difference in his protocol. Any difference, there was nothing. He had no different meds, no physical therapy. He just knew that I was holding his highest and best good in my heart while I was shooting. So those things I've seen. And then the day that Braco arrived on the island, so it was I realized that I hadn't coughed in a day. And then a couple of days later, I realized I hadn't been coughing and my nose wasn't running in a few days. And then about a week into it, my husband said, have you realized you're not coughing anymore? And I said, shh, don't talk about it. I don't want to jinx it. I was definitely worried that it wasn't going to stick. And, and so here it is a couple of years later, and I'm doing great. Yeah, it doesn't rain 200 inches right now, but I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Jane, I'm going to let you get back to getting the room ready for the next go, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Jane. And she, in my mind, is really behind the process of creating such a healing environment. She radiates the joy and the presence and the belief in this experience of it. And I want to tell you a little bit about Braco in terms of the information that is offered by Angelica Whitecliffe in her book, 21 Days with Braco. And just a quote from some of her experiences in there. It says, Braco did not have the power that power had him. That's from her book on page 83. This is a vital point for me to grasp in order to understand the nature of this energy, she continues, and the gift of Braco. The power had all the control, not the other way around. And Braco's first dedication to life was to the source energy. And he had made the pledge that as long as people came, he would help them. Braco gave himself fully to the energy and to the other people, including the family and best friends. He gave equally to the same. In another location, she also says, if he did, he would not be able to bring forth the energy in his gazing. Inherently, he recognized that the problem of civilization was that there was too much information, and it was extinguishing people's feelings. In other words, with all the data going on, and we wonder why Braco doesn't do interviews or write books that give out a lot of dogma or explain a lot of what's going on, but there seems to be just an ongoing representation of his work, that he would rather the experiences of the people that are being healed speak for the process that Braco is going through. So the people are lining up again, and I'm going to go and see if there's anyone that would be interested in sharing their story. Hi, I'm Dr. Carol Francis, and we have a radio show going on. We're wanting to interview people that had an experience with Braco. Have you been in there yet? Yes. And is anyone that would like to share their experience of what's going on? What happened?
I know, all of a sudden.
It can be all the way from neutral to nothing to frustration to amazement. We really are trying to just get honest responses because we think that the honest responses are going to be helpful. Oh, can you come on over to the table? Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to meet someone here. Have a seat right there, and I'm just going to hold the microphone there to you. So let me know what your name is. You don't have to give us a full name. Depends if you want people to know who you are.
Okay, I'm Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. So can you tell us what you just experienced and what your personal process was? And I see you have the sensei there with this beautiful...
Well, I've gazed with him a lot of times, and it's different each time. But this time, it's just such a joy when he comes out on the stage, and I just feel like, wow. And it's just a warm, heart-opening experience, and I find myself smiling and tears coming up at the same time because it's just such a sweetness coming from him and his face and his energy. And so I've brought many people here, because I first saw him a year ago, and my life shifted dramatically after.
Can you tell us some of the details of that?
Sure. I mean, sometimes healing happens in ways we might not think are healing. But I had an aunt who was very, very ill. She had breast cancer, and she was in hospice, and none of us could figure out why she was sticking around because she was depressed, and she really wasn't interested in life for quite a while. And so I took her picture, and I saw Braco look at her picture, and I knew that he had her. I just saw a light in his eye or something. And I got a phone call a little while later saying that she wasn't going to make it. She was leaving. And then the day before, she was perfectly fine. But I knew that his gaze helped her let go of whatever fear or whatever attachment she had to being here. And she was able to let go and move on really quickly after that. And so that was just one of the amazing experiences. But
definitely a comfort for you.
You know, I was able to be there with a few more gazes, knowing she was leaving and holding her energy, and it was really, really sweet, really sweet. So I feel like, you know, I just was a conduit to help her.
You're all aglow. Are you always this glowing?
I'm probably a lot more glowy since seeing Braco. But yeah, that was one experience, and he's helped me. My health has shifted from seeing him, and I got a wonderful job right after seeing him. So,
talk about the health, because that's a lot of people who are listening. I do a lot of research on healers and healing phenomenon. A lot of the listeners tune into my radio show because they are interested in healing. So, can you address that?
Well, I don't know how it works. I just know that when I came to see him, the first time I saw him was in San Diego, and I was pretty sick. I had been sick on and off for months, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to drive down to see him. And I did make it down, and after 3 gazing sessions, my energy was back. I was feeling incredible, and that was quickly. The initial issue I went for, though, I'm still having issues with a year later. So you never know how the energy is going to work, or how it's going to work for you in particular.
Does that ever make you feel skeptical or wonder if this is valid or not?
No, because so many other things have happened, you know. So I don't doubt it. It's just like, okay, my process is different on this thing, you know. It's not releasing as quickly as I'd like it to.
So the proof of what Braco has to offer to you is not in that you have perfection, or
no.
Why not?
I have perfection, but no. I mean, I can see the shifts, and sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes I look back, I go, oh, you know, something's happened over these last 2 months that I didn't notice right away, and something lifted, something shifted, and so, and I've seen that with friends of mine too when they've come, and they.
Any stories of theirs?
Well, I have one girlfriend, and she wanted to gaze for a relationship. And the thing I noticed about her is a couple months later she said to me, you know, I'm okay being alone. I don't need a relationship. And she'd never spoken like that. She always felt like less than because she wasn't in a relationship, and that totally lifted from her. And I'm like, well, that's a huge healing right there and then, you know. So we don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but...
walking in the comfort of your own peaceful path, that's eased for some people. And then your career, what was that? What was the shift there?
Well, I was pretty stuck. I was an outside consultant, and I felt pretty stuck. I didn't like working by myself anymore, and I didn't know what I was going to do. But about a month after I went to Vegas to gaze with Braco for a weekend, I got a phone call from a major company that said, we have a VP position we think you'd be perfect for. Would you be interested? And I said, well, sure, I'll come in and talk to you about it. And I took the job, and I've been loving it. So,
wow, out of the blue?
Yeah, pretty much. One person was moved out of that position and to another position, and I was like the perfect person for it, so I got it.
That's fantastic. So you have been to San Diego, Las Vegas, and now you're today in Woodland Hills, California. Other places as well?
Phoenix and San Francisco.
This is a real path for you then to take this experience.
I feel like it's such a blessing to be able to, you know, have access to this kind of energy that I do take advantage of it when I can.
So my experience of the energy is different each time I've gazed, you know, and you marinate and such. So today, just for example, I felt this nice warmth that came in certain regions that is a different type of warmth than just when you're cozy or when you're in front of a fire. So I'm saying all this to kind of ignite your own experience of what your sensation or your resonance with the energy is. How would you describe it?
You know, it's different at different times. I know yesterday when I was live streaming, I felt this warmth all over my back. And other times I've actually felt sick. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily always...
What type of sickness?
Chest pain. You know, I've had weird aches and pains come up during the gazing. And a little lightheaded, that kind of thing.
Fascinating process. Well, thank you, Cindy, for sharing your story. Thank you very much. And see if there's anybody else I can go. Anybody else want to tell a story? You want to tell a story?
My name is Christine Rengay.
How did you become part of the Braco experience, and what's the process for you?
I heard about this healer that had come into town for the first time a couple of years ago, and so I just went to get the experience and get an idea of what it was about. And I felt the energy right away. It just felt like I opened my heart, and I felt so much peace and so much joy. So then I volunteered my services, and the second time he came to the Beverly Garland, then I became part of the experience. And I don't see have bells and whistles, but what I have is just a changing of perception. It's a deeper understanding at a different level, and a lot of peace, a lot of awareness. I can feel the energy flowing in my life. Things happen spontaneously. Last thing that just happened spontaneously, I woke up one morning and I had no desire for sugar, and that's a big one for me because I like sweets. Sweet had a sweet tooth, and it's been 2.5 months and nothing. I have no desire, no interest in it at all, and so I've lost weight just naturally. So I haven't even been on, but I put my pants on this morning. They fell down, and so I'm going to get the next size because I haven't got on the scale. But I just take it, as when I wake up and see what the next thing will unfold. And I've been here to watch all the experiences from Michelle to Chris that are on the DVDs, and I saw them how they came in and what shape they were in, and I saw them when they left. It is so inspiring and invigorating and empowering just to watch what happens for everybody, because we're all the same, and it happens for us at the right time.
So can you tell some of those stories when you watch them come in? Can you tell those 2 stories?
I remember when Michelle came in, and she was really frail and real fragile, and they brought her in a wheelchair, and we kept her inside the room, and she stayed in the room for 3 whole days, and Braco was here for 3 days. And after the 3rd time, she says, I have hope. She said, I have hope. And we just kept her in the room the whole time, would take care of whatever she needed to. And then that same day, she says, I know I got my healing. I always knew it would be a spiritual healing. And so she sat there the rest of the time very quiet and went home. And then we heard that she got, an X-ray, and that her tumor had shrunk to the size of a pea.
As opposed to what?
To the size of a golf ball. And she'd had 36 surgeries. And John Donnelly, her friend that brought her here, I've seen him again and again. He said she is doing so wonderful. She is doing so well. And then Chris was this gentleman that had a lot of health problems and forgot his wheelchair, forgot his walker, and it literally took him 20 minutes to walk to the front of the room when we first let him in. And we watched him walk. He was struggling. He was having a hard time breathing. And he sat there one session only. He came with his wife, and after that one session, he got up, marched out of the room, marched up the flight of stairs, and we were just like dumbfounded. I watched this, and his wife goes, he's past me. He's never ever done that. He hasn't done that in 15 years. And he said, all I need is one session. That was it. I got what I needed. And it was truly amazing.
Have you seen him since?
No, I haven't seen him since.
What an interesting story. So we're going to come and meet you again in the future when we find out about your sugar and your weight and how fast you're cooked. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Yes. Your first name is?
Tina.
Tina. And what has been your experience with Braco so far?
Well, last year I had a phone call from my brother in Holland who his girlfriend and him had a child, what was my nephew, and during an awful accident with the ship, I'm born and raised on a ship in Europe, a cargo ship, and the ship had flipped over 180 degrees, and he lost his only child in that accident. That was 9 years ago. The mom got really sick afterwards and got very, very depressed. Now last year, they went separated. They could not stay longer together, or him and her went their own ways, but they stayed friends. My brother called me and said, you know that Maddie, that's her name, is very, very sick and she's in the hospital, and I want you to come over. Now this was in Holland, and I live in the United States. So I went to Holland because she's dying. I could not believe what I was heard. All the time they thought it was depression, but it happened to be her heart was working only at 12 to 15% capacity. When I came there, they had given up on her already. She was only 46. She was she was by this time in a kind of a hospice-like arrangement, and her feet were already dying off because her blood was not pumping around no more, and she had blood clots everywhere. The cardiologist said the only had in his whole career, only seen 2 patients with so many. One was her with so many blood clots. She needed a new liver, new lungs, and a new liver, lungs, and heart to survive. But that was not going to happen. So they gave up on her, and I went over there because I don't do funerals. I went over there and I wanted to say thank you so much for being in my life, and I did. And when I left, I took from her house 2 little dolls, but were the little on her computer arrangements. She had 2 like those antique-looking dolls, as a memory to her, and I took it along. And then there was Braco was here in Los Angeles. When I came in Los Angeles,
had you seen or heard of Braco before?
Yeah, it was one time before, but I just was trucking along with my girlfriend who liked to see Braco, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm just taking these 2 little dolls along, and I'm standing here in the audience with my 2 little dolls, and I got a very good gaze from Braco, and I'm like, hey, help Mattie, please. She's in Holland, very sick. And a month later, I got a phone call from my brother because I didn't call, just give time to die. What was natural thing to do, what has. So, and I got a phone call from my brother. She thinks he's going to get out of here. I said, what do you mean she thinks he's going to get out of here? Well, she feels better. And pretty soon she was in a wheelchair, and her cardiologist said, a miracle must have happened. Your blood clots are gone. And now she is, they had to cut off her feet because they were already dead, dying, and part of her feet, and now she's walking again. So she's back home. So yes, that's my experience.
How is she walking?
She's walking with special shoes. They made special shoes with orthopedic specialty shoes, and she's slowly recovering and walking again. And no more blood clots.
Does she know that that's linked potentially to your doll bringing to the Braco Gaze, or no?
I have told her that later.
Her reaction?
She was very happy and thanked me for it, And but I don't know if she you really believes, But I am for sure, you know what I mean? I am very happy and grateful that has happened. I was just telling my neighbor that,
Hello, neighbor.
My neighbor here in the line, yes. It's fantastic that it has happened.
That is an amazing story. And for yourself, anything personally that you've noticed, or just certain sort of experiences or energy?
I'm generally here to ask for 150 other people, and if I feel very guilty and anxious, if I have to ask something for myself and can hardly concentrate on it. So today
I'll ask for you.
Yeah, today, thank you. Today I'm trying to ask for myself, but I feel like anxious and more guilty to do that. Yeah, but I'm going to try to do my best.
Oh, we are behind you.
Today is me day.
Yes. Beautiful, wonderful. Is there anything you'd like to say, neighbor, or is this your first experience here? Okay, so when you've heard the stories from your neighbor, what was your reaction?
I started crying. Yeah, I'm very skeptical. So.
You've never gone in there and done it. Okay, so then after you have the experience, come get me over there at the radio table. Will you, please? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that story. That's amazing. So my name is Dr. Carol Francis. I do a lot of research on healers and the healing process, and Braco has been a part of my wonderment about the healing. So what's your first name and what brings you here?
Well, my name is Dave Rosen, and I'm actually working as part of the live stream dream team that Jane put together.
Yes, BracoAmerica.com. Please check it out.
Yeah. And so we're doing the live stream today and getting this out to the people that would like to view Braco but couldn't otherwise be here in person.
So what brought you into the cluster of this? Is it just because you were part of that experienced capacity here?
Well, it actually happened a few years ago, and not knowing much, I've learned so much along this journey. And what happened was I have a company that does live streaming and does rentals and some people got some equipment from me, and I could see that maybe there was going to be some challenges. And I said to my head technician, I said, do you want to go to Hawaii and help some people? Because they didn't know they needed it yet, but So without a budget, we just hopped on a plane and flew to Hawaii. And I kind of met everybody the next day, or that later, I guess it was the next day. We met everyone, and we had a chance to help out wherever we could. And I ended up, my one-day trip became a 7-day trip. And I went from just helping with one thing to running camera when needed and doing website construction and helping in just many ways to get this going the way it is, which has been a pretty amazing journey.
Well, I understand that you would want to do it just because you're dedicated to your profession and wanting to help people out, but I get the impression it was a lot more powerful than that there was something shifted inside of you related to the Braco energy, or as they call it.
Well, I would say I've never done anything like that before, quite like that, and something, whatever that was, put me on a plane. And the rest was, in the world of Braco, it's the people you meet. It's not. Braco's amazing, and everything I've seen is incredible. The testimonials. We talk to a lot of people. Part of what I do is I talk to people and I film people, and hearing that amount of testimonials, talking about what has happened and what has come from simply coming to a gaze live or coming to a gaze online.
Is there a story right now as you're thinking that just kind of like spun you for this is unbelievable?
Well, to be honest, there's so many big stories, but these are stories from people that I'm meeting for the first time. The simpler stories, the stories of my crew that I've brought out. We were in San Diego, and we hired a friend of mine, and I got to say, on the drive down, a skeptic, even the morning of a skeptic, but she probably shouldn't have been working with us that day. Her sciatica was acting up. She had a hard time lifting the camera. She wasn't really in shape to be working. And as she walks in as a skeptic, the day goes on, and she bends over to pick up a cable and realizes her back's fine. Everything is fine. Everything has moved on. And at this point, she's like, this has never happened to me before. She's had this problem before, and it stays. It doesn't just clear up in a minute. Now, this is a friend of mine who walked in with a skeptical attitude, not expecting anything other than, she's going to run camera for the day. But she walked out, healed at that moment, feeling good.
Have you talked to her since?
Oh yeah, we still, of course, yeah. She's working in New York now on other projects, but she would come back.
And her sciatica gone.
Well, I haven't talked to her about that. I should do a follow-up.
Get back to me then when you do.
Yeah, we've had one other thing, and this was on the very first trip. I brought the tech I brought with me, Lars. We went, we didn't know much about Hawaii. I've been there a couple of times, but didn't realize there's sea urchins everywhere, and he stepped on a sea urchin. We tried to go snorkeling after sunset, and I don't know. And he stepped on a sea urchin, and he's limping around all morning, and I'm getting worried. Without him, I'm in trouble. We need him to be healthy. And a few hours later, he wasn't limping anymore. And I said, Lars, did you pull the sea urchin? Because he hadn't pulled the stingers yet. We were still too busy for that. And he goes, no, it just stopped hurting.
Wow, that is pretty dramatic with that poison, that toxicity coming into the system. That could have really harmed him. So
yeah, it's it was one of those things where after that, a few hours later, it became a non-issue. He was fine.
How about for you? I know you must be very touched by these people that are first-hand acquaintances of yours or knowledgeable to you. But how about for you? What have you noticed when you're in there filming or watching the gazing?
Well, the biggest challenge is for as many times. I've been to 200 plus gazes because that's what but my job is,
Does it distract you?
I'm focused on, other stuff at that moment, and I have to be, because if I'm not on top of my game professionally, I can't bring this amazing image of Braco through the internet, connecting with people at home, because I'll miss something. So I haven't had as many live experiences as others, but what I've had is what I focus on, what intent I bring into the room, what I feel as I walk into the room. When I get home from these, my life changes in just amazing ways, and
describe them, or they feel kind of difficult or ethereal to. It's not concrete like a healing, but nonetheless impactful.
Well, mine's more of a, of course, I bring pictures of kids. Of course,
Nice.
I bring pictures of life, and everything's wonderful on the home front on that level.
Right.
But really, it's then I go to we're expanding our company. We're meeting new people, and the kind of jobs we got. We came home from one Braco event, and the phone just always seems to blow up afterwards, and people don't even know how they heard of us, but they're calling us. And we landed. We got home from, I think it was the San Diego, Portland. They kind of, I have a hard time keeping the cities apart. But we got home from one of the Gazing. We got a call to do the Emmy Awards, the Academy Awards, the People's Choice, the Critics' Choice. And we're still a relatively young company, but these clients come out of the woodwork. We don't know how they find us, and so it always seems to be the big. If I could put a chart on it, every time we come home from a Braco event, we get this amazing peak in phone call and things happen.
So life is not just about a bodily healing. It's also about being able to move on with your career.
It's about intention. It's the intention you bring. It's what you bring into the room, and what you bring with it.
Were you a spiritual person prior to this, or did you contemplate spiritual components of life?
I have had my own life experiences prior to Braco to say, I would call myself spiritual. It's more of internally. It's hard to define with any, firm. I have my own religious beliefs, but they're my own. Right. And my biggest belief is the belief that everyone can have their own beliefs. And I absolutely love the Braco experience. Being here on Braco and being involved in the live stream has just been amazing. And
it doesn't interfere with any of your personal beliefs. That's what they're saying. No dogma, no overlap.
Not at all. No, this is it. Everyone's welcome, and it really does not conflict values, conflict beliefs. It just adds to them.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Do you want to say what your industry is so people can go ahead?
Yeah, our company is called Absolute Live Productions out of Burbank, California. My email would be dave.absolute@gmail.com. We love doing live streams. We've got some wonderful things coming up, and if anyone needs a live streaming service to get their word out there, we'd love to help them as well.
So why not, folks? You've heard it here. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's see if this person, sir, have you experienced Braco already today? No, you haven't. Why are you here?
I don't know.
You don't know. Who brought you here?
My wife found out about it, and I'm open to see what I will experience.
Very cute little person next to you there. Well, we're just doing it. We're really just talking to people about why they're here, what they're hoping to experience, or what they have already experienced. How did you hear about Braco?
A coworker.
What did the coworker tell you?
And we looked it up on the internet, and we found out that he's a healer, and we can use some healing at so many levels.
Okay, so you've come here with the intention of let's heal, let's be healed. Many people in your life need healing, or specific?
I think we all do at so many levels,
Where are you from? Where's your accent?
I'm from Romania.
Romania. And Braco is just a name, just a healer to you. No one. So, and you don't know anybody that's ever been healed or experienced Braco.
No.
So, folks, here we are. Someone completely a neophyte in the whole process of it. So, would you come out afterward, after you experience, and let me know what it's like for you? I'd love to talk to you later then, too.
Yeah, I think he's an answer to my prayers. We attract in our life what we need at certain points in life. So I'm at crossroads right now in my life, so I know I need him. That's why I'm here.
Okay, great. You know it.
Yeah.
You know it. Okay, thank you. Your name is? Your first name?
Nita.
Nita, what is your story with Braco?
I didn't know much about Braco, except a friend told me about him, and 5 days later he was in Seattle. So that was all the information I had, was a little bit of explanation from my girlfriend. Went to see him. I found out that day that he was in Seattle, so I had like an hour to get there to the first session. I jumped out of my house and drove, and it was in person, so that was my first exposure, was seeing him in person, and I had a healing happening. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have any preconceived notions of any kind. I have a leg that needed healing because of surgery, that was in pain because the metal had moved in my leg that was put there from a break, and I was in constant pain in my hamstring, and that what happened is a whole bunch of really hot energy, very heated feeling energy went down my leg. It got very intense, so that it felt like it was hurting. This was my intention actually before he came out on stage, was to have that healing in my leg and also my stomach. And I felt that same heated energy, but it wasn't painful in my intestines, stomach area. It lasted the whole time he was on stage. When he left the stage, it died down and just there wasn't any sensation, but I had no more pain, and it's never come back. I've had no more pain in my intestines either, and that was over a year ago because that was in Seattle. And
so, did you go to the doctor and say something's happened to this plate? Do you check it out, take an X-ray?
I don't have health insurance, so no.
Don't waste your money. If it doesn't hurt, it's good. It's just interesting to hear when it's verified, and not that it matters to be verified by a medical doctor for your personal experience, but for those of us that need to understand the healing process and walk in skepticism, we need to know. This is a change in life.
I am a massage therapist.
There we go.
Work with physical therapists, and so this was a muscle problem. So I'm pretty familiar with what goes on in kinesiology, and it made a huge difference. There is no more pulling that was happening on the hamstring after that, because the plate had moved, the hamstring was being pulled, and it wasn't happening after that. I can't give you the medical description of what was going on in my intestines, other than I think they were inflamed. And that was the pain, and I don't feel that anymore either. Yeah.
There was a healer in the previous Gazing, and she said that her healing ability when she massages is increased each time she comes here to marinate. What's your experience along those lines?
Well, that has become my intention, actually. When I go online to do the Gazing sessions, that's my intention, is to have that energy be more pronounced when I do massage, so that there's more healing that happens. And I feel it, and I think my clients feel it, but I haven't actually taken the time to say, now, do you feel any difference now from before, say, this time? So I'm not really sure.
But you feel the process. And you have a friend here with you. And do you have an experience with Braco, or have you ever been here with Braco before?
Well, I haven't seen Braco live, but I have seen 3 live streams and 1 direct gaze.
And any experiences that you would want to share?
Well, I felt very calm afterwards. I didn't have any expectations. I don't know if anything happened or didn't happen. I really don't care.
Really? Tell us why you don't care. That's an interesting point of view.
Because I'm open. And I don't want to care one way or the other and make a judgment about it. What I want to do is be open to whatever I can receive. And just being able to enjoy myself. I feel that for my understanding right now is that it is my intention, and Braco's from the Gazing seems to me to be a mirror for me to open up to my own healing with inside myself, that he isn't actually giving me something, but he's providing a channel for me to open up to what I need. And I don't know in my head what I need, but I know my body and my heart and my spirit knows what it needs. So that's how I want to approach this today, is just to be open to receive the gift that he has to offer, so I can accept the gift that myself wants to give to me.
That is beautiful. And I do realize there's so many people with different spiritual beliefs or perspectives that seem to have complete freedom to hold to whatever they believe and then move forward with Braco. What are you thinking about that?
I agree. Because I've found that your intuition, or the part of you that is able to listen to what your heart's wanting to say, becomes clearer and clearer with this exposure to Braco's gift. I think that happens more and more. Another thing that happened that I wanted to mention is I was doing a live gazing when my mother was having a stroke, and I did not know that she was having a stroke. I had her picture pinned on my shirt during the gazing, and I did 3 of them in a row. And then I discovered later that, probably about 4 hours later, that she had had a stroke and she was taken to the hospital. I went to see her, and she was doing really well.
Oh, that's startling.
It is. And she's recovered, she's leaving the hospital today. She's recovered incredibly well. She doesn't need anything but outpatient therapy to recover some of her lost speech and movement in one hand. And
did you tell her that you were holding her in the Braco energy, as some people say, today, and because you have the picture with you today, and before? Did you tell her?
I didn't tell her before she had the stroke because the first gazing session was at 8 a.m., and I didn't have a chance to, but I did tell her after, and I did tell her that I'm doing that today too. And I did it yesterday in the morning also. So I'm hoping that this is definitely being felt by her.
Is she going to do live streaming or live gazing?
She's not able to. She's 81 and she doesn't have a computer. And yeah.
It doesn't matter, doesn't?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. It doesn't matter. Okay. So after you go in, you're going to go into this next session. If you feel like coming over and letting me know what it was like, I would love to hear your post-Braco gazing.
I'm very excited because this is my second time to see him live. So yeah, I'm very happy to do this. Thank you.
It's like walking in a midst of love.
One thing that encouraged me is I have friends in Seattle, friends in Southern California, and friends in Denver who have all seen Braco live. And they've all talked to me about it. And in fact, they were so encouraged for me to come and see him that they actually paid for my plane fare to come to Los Angeles to be able to see Braco.
Where are you from?
Santa Cruz, not too far. It's still great, yeah.
And why were you?
Francisco, what?
I think he's planning on it actually, but why did they send you? What are they hoping for you?
I think they just know that I'm open to healing and have had wonderful experiences with that, and there's just love between us. And whenever love and kindness and gratitude are shared, it's a wonderful thing. And if that's what Braco's offering, I would love to receive it.
It sounds like you've already received it from your friends. What a wonderful gesture that they've helped you out with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been coming here like a couple of times. I don't remember how many times, but yeah, the experience is wonderful. It's a miracle.
Care to share your story?
Yeah, sure. The last time when we came and we was here in the same place, I was holding my house picture and my kids, my husband, and then the first section, when we was there, my house was getting burned, and then my kids was inside, and then my husband went through and he found out that the house was burning, and he catch out that. So I was thinking that was the miracle, from
That happened when you were here?
Yeah, I was here holding the picture, my husband, my kids, and that was the first section. Yeah.
Wow, powerful. And she told you that story. What did you think?
Well, I was thinking it was a miracle, because like she says, I'm in the house with my daughters, and she never know what's going on there, but she got the picture, when she come and see Braco, so it's gonna be a miracle.
That's wonderful.
Hi, I've been visiting Braco in Woodland Hills. It's about my 4th time, and I love his energy. And through that, I became a Reiki. I work with Reiki energy, and I came today to have him infuse my own energy.
That's beautiful.
With him, I don't usually get it in the room. I get it a day later, and I get headaches, and everything gets all shooken up, all chakras and everything are stirred up, and then I get I always get what I'm supposed to get. I always receive it. And my cat, she could be sleeping under her covers, and I put them on live stream, and she always jumps out of them.
I have absurd stories. I tried that with my cats. It didn't work. They just walked away.
And my cat she sleeps with a Braco cover under her bed because the vet said she would die 8 months ago, and she's running around. She's still alive. So
that's a beautiful story. Any other story?
No.
That's a beautiful.
There'll be many more.
That's beautiful. Now, as a Reiki healer, because that's what you do you do that for other people as well?
I'm going for my master's in May, so I do it now for my animals and other people.
So have you noticed a shift in your own Reiki energy? What's it like?
Oh, a whole shift in my personality. I'm not the same. No,
What was your personality?
A little cocky, a little sassy.
That's a nice edge. And what is it now?
Very perceptive, very intuitive, extremely intuitive. So,
like the third eye has opened.
Absolutely.
Do you remember what that experience was like when your third eye opened?
Well, so I've been studying. I'm meditating for 20 years, so I don't know. It's just that with the Reiki and the attunement, that's when I started expanding. My energy expanded, and I'm very cautious of what I say to people and how I say it, and just in general conversation.
Thoughtful about the impact it's going to have.
Very mindful.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else like to say something? Share something?
We did, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
We did live streaming at home, and once when I did it, we did it a few times. The air, not around the air brought on the screen, but actually the air in the room where we were viewing from, I could see it turning pure white while he was working. And the first time I saw him on the screen, I just burst into tears about all the pain and suffering in the world, and this man bringing so much compassion, to lighten everything up for people. And the day after we did the first live streaming, I woke up and I literally felt that there were extra chambers on top of my head, that he had opened up our chakras, and I had a 7-chakra meditation, that I've now expanded to a 9-chakra meditation. I can feel the energy up there, and it's really beautiful. We went to live streaming this morning, and I felt, very intensely something on the left side of my head, and I was being told that I had only been seeing things from one side. That's sort of what, and I didn't know what it meant. And then I got back on the line for the next session, and a woman a stranger started talking, and she started talking about her own. She says, my right brain is overactive. And I realized he was talking about creative work, and I'm doing a huge creative project that I wasn't even thinking about when we did the session this morning. And I realized that I just go wildly creative. It's not necessarily very organized, so I don't have the right brain and the left brain aren't that well integrated. And it's like I was giving you all these subtle messages to correct dysfunctions that I wasn't even thinking of consciously. And it's just such a profound light energy. You can almost see the air shimmer, when he gets on stage.
And were you also doing the live streaming with her this morning?
Yeah.
So what's it like for you?
It's a unique experience in terms of I've been for some period of time my own worst enemy, and Braco is sort of just sending all that light through, even though I'm still resisting it all. But nevertheless, it's the nature of resistance. It's a horrible disease. It's hard to get rid of. But,
You think Braco's going to be able to crack it with you? Say with you, not for you.
I certainly hope so. Because, aware of everything going on in this world has been a little bit too much for me these days. And I'd like to see it healed. I'd like to, in any way possible, I'd like to see it healed. And not just me, but the whole world.
You're carrying the world in there with you, is that right?
Yeah, I'm watching the world fall apart. And I'm hoping that it gets reconstructed in a good way. Because right now, the way it is very sad. And I'm not speaking just of this particular person. I'm speaking about what is going on.
I understand. Wow, beautiful. Yes.
Because I think this will be, maybe bring some more hope or relief from despair from other people. I felt very strongly since I watched live streaming that he can really connect people with their, deceased loved ones. And I realized that he came from a very war-torn part of the world, like Croatia, which is around, Serbia and the East European countries, where there's tremendous war and tremendous loss and tremendous suffering. And shortly after the live streaming, I felt, because I have spirits come to me sometime from the other side, my first cousin from childhood, and he was a very prominent psychiatrist, and my mother's side of the family was just like completely crazy. There was a lot of manic depression and everything, and I never turned to this person, but he was like the one person that probably would have been really helpful for me in dealing with some of my own deranged relatives. And suddenly he appeared in my consciousness, and I thought, oh, is he still in New York? I should contact him. I said, no, this is silly. I'm like talking to a spirit. So I Googled him, and I looked him up on the Internet, and it turned out that the anniversary of his death, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't even know if he was still alive, was today, the day I was going to meet Braco. So I feel really strongly that his spirit is with me, and there's some help for him.
Have you ever seen him in person?
It's someone I hadn't seen for 30 years.
I mean, have you seen Braco before in live?
Oh, not live, no. But the first time I came to see him live, it was the death anniversary of my cousin, whom I have, and it just came to me so vividly. I said there must be a reason for this. So I had to look up on the Internet because I didn't know if he was still alive or he had deceased. And his death anniversary, which I feel is like the birth of someone into another plane. I feel strongly about death anniversaries. So I really feel he does things for people who have they've lost people and they feel like it's a permanent loss. I feel he can work with that and get people reconnected in spirit where they belong. And I just feel really strongly it could be a very great blessing for people who are in despair for that.
I hope you have a wonderful experience in there. I'm going to be at the table right outside the door, so come and let me know, okay, when you're done. Would you like to share your story about Braco? What's your story? She's in the middle of chewing that last bite. She must tell her story. She's intent. And she's waiting in the line with about 15 other people for the next viewing. And tell me what your story is, Maria.
Well, my history, I have a friend here. Her name is Liz Schwartz. He invites me all the time to the reunions. And then I've been in San Diego. I've been here 3 times. So the last time I came, I asked Braco help me because I lost the house and I don't know where I should go. And so I came and say, Braco, please help me. Give me my home. I need a home. And I have a home.
Since when?
Yeah. Since 2 months.
Oh my goodness.
2 months. And I have a friend, good friend. She's gonna build a room. Add the room from her house, and I'm gonna live there. Yeah, it's
gonna be your own space, your own place. With your friends.
Yeah, thank you.
And today, what do you hope to experience as you go through the Braco Gazing?
I want to say thank you for everything. And I will ask more things this morning or this afternoon. Yes, he's a great man. I believe it.
Well, why are you back?
Well, to be honest, I was skeptical at first, right? Like a lot of people, and about what is he gazes at people, right? It's weird, very bizarre, right? But now I understand why. It will help a lot of people instead of doing hands-on, right? So, after the first session, I was convinced. I mean, it just a lot of things opened up for me energetically and in my life, and I knew it was Braco. So I know he's incredibly powerful.
Can you share what opened up with you?
Yeah, some things with my finances, but it was more of like a shift in my consciousness where that is concerned. Like things just got easier with that, to think about. I mean, I've always had, and he just made it like okay and natural and just to keep going on that path. And he just really seems to be like a friend to people as well. Just like a support system, a major support system.
How long ago did you come and see Braco?
The last time he was here.
Okay. Here in L.A., in Woodland Hills.
Exactly, and I've been waiting and waiting. I'm like, oh my God, he's coming again. I have to go.
Do you need the live gazing?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm just getting into the whole.
But you'll really enjoy those. Well, thanks for sharing your story. And if you have a story afterward, let me know. Does anybody want to share a story about Braco? Yes.
I came for the first time last June, and I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, and I hadn't had my surgery. I was waiting for my surgery and just praying that everything would be very simple and no follow-up. And actually, I felt this huge white cloud come towards me while I was doing the viewing. and it just was a mist that enveloped me. And afterwards, I had less anxiety. I felt everything was going to go fine, and it actually did. I needed no further treatment. They got the whole cancer. It was very, very early, and it was just like an amazing relief.
Wow, what a story.
The cloud coming towards me was amazing.
What did it look like?
It was very white. It was like a white mist coming from him.
In the room?
I was pretty close to the front. I was the second row. Somebody got me into the second row. Yeah, and it was just enveloping from him, but it felt like it was coming towards me, but I wasn't looking around the rest of the room.
What an amazing story. Well, what are you hoping for this gazing?
Continued health.
God bless you. Wonderful. Would you like to tell a story? Have you been here before?
First day.
Why would you come?
A friend of ours invited us, actually.
What's the story of your friend?
She's a healer, and her healer gets healed by him.
Really? And did they have experiences that you just had to test out?
No, it's her first time as well, but her healer recommended it because she's healed by him many times.
Wow. What do you think you're going to experience?
Don't know, but I'm excited.
Well, I'd like to share my very first Braco story. My wife invited me, and I was a true skeptic of all skeptics. And so I went to the first gazing. It was in Maui in Haiku. And so I went and, watched and everything, and I really felt like something was really coming inside me, and I saw the kind of a sparkly thing. And so I left, and I don't really remember exactly leaving the room, but I was in a line of women, and I'm looking at the woman's hair in front of me. I'm like, her hair is so beautiful. Everybody is so beautiful, and everything was so crystally clear. And I was looking in a mirror, and there was two sinks, and there was women in front of me and women behind me. And all of a sudden, this woman taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, "Sir, did you know you're in the women's bathroom?" And I said, "Oh, my goodness." And so I said, "Thank you very much." And I said, after that, I said, "I'm not a skeptic anymore. There is definitely something to this."
You were completely out of it, completely phased out of it.
I was just in a state of just happiness, and I was just so appreciative of everybody around me, and just felt a true love inside.
That's beautiful. What a fun story. What a humorously fun story. Thank you so much. Enjoy your gazing.
Well, I, in the 90s, wrote 3 books about angels.
What were they?
The Angel Book, A Handbook for Aspiring Angel, Angel Voices and Angel Encounters, True Stories of Divine Intervention. And it was a very beautiful, kind of a guided time for me, and the whole thing was magnificent. But I've spoken to maybe 100 people who have angel stories, and I never saw an angel.
That sucks.
I have angel stories, but I never saw one. And when I first saw Braco, boom, I felt like I was seeing an angel.
What did it look like to you?
He was just a pure being of light. That's what he is. That's all I ever see. And I have an experience always that he knows me, that he knows my name, that I know him. There's always a moment of very intense connection, like we're dear, dear old friends. And then whammo, all sorts of wonderful things happen. Emotionally, spiritually, I don't know, areas that I've worked on start arising, emotional conflicts, if I have any from the past, my childhood, etc. Things just sort of move up and out, and I sometimes weep through the sessions, or shake through sessions, or laugh through sessions. It's very waterfallish. Energy just flies through me. And it's always really fun. And I seem to have seen him in 5 different places without trying to. Wherever
just in the right spot.
He happens to be there.
Wow.
And I don't even know what to call the relationship. He's not my guru. But I love to see him.
Wow, that's a great story. You obviously have had a long history of following some sort of spiritual orientation, or at least exploring it. So how do you put this in the sequence of everything you've ever explored?
Well, I mean, I've spent decades in doing meditations and various techniques, and I've been to India 4 times, and I've been around people who are enlightened and free, and there are not many, unlike popular opinion. And for me, it's a complete, it's just a complete experience to see him without any words. It's just all there. And if someone like me, someone who is seeking enlightenment, let's say, it's there. If someone's seeking some sort of miracle, it's there. And my openness determines. And there have been times when I've seen him for a whole day, on various sessions, and I just get full. I know I can't take in one more drop of energy, and I just, leave for a while and maybe I don't come back. But usually now, after that happened a few times, I don't block it and things just keep passing.
Do you think you're right about this experience?
What do you mean?
Do you think you write a book about these experiences you're having?
No, but no, I don't have any feeling about writing a book about that, but I am writing a book full of lots of experiences, and I guess I will probably mention this one. I mean, I don't feel like I have any role with regard to Braco, although I'm sharing right now, so maybe some people will hear this. That's cool.
Yo quiero decir que muchas gracias. Y que
you have been here before with Braco
antes y siento que cada vez me encuentro más y más y que puedo poquito a poco siento que voy a poder compartir más y más. Gracias.
What's your first name?
I'm Patrice.
Patrice, what of your story do you want to share?
I guess it's my story that I just shared earlier about the live streaming, and I'm so grateful, first of all, to Braco and to the woman who shared at the time in Hawaii about her concussion. She called it a broken brain, and I listened to her share, and what was really powerful for me was I wasn't expecting anything from her sharing. I just was listening to the share after the live streaming in my part, and what happened was I physically experienced what she was talking about because I had a concussion when I was 21, and I'm 67 now, so that's a long time ago.
Right.
And I didn't realize it. That all of a sudden it felt like bones were shifting in my face and my head, and breathing was easier and clean, like a clean breath. And I wasn't even aware that I needed it. It wasn't like, oh, I really need to have something happen. No, it just occurred. And it was like she went for 2 years, 40-something times to Braco, and she never really got complete, walk-on-water moments, and she just kept going, and I was so shocked. It felt like I got all that energy from her that Braco gave her, and it continued. I went in the last and then the next live streaming with Braco was like his energy, the energy coming through, I don't know, whatever, it just kept going. And my shoulders and my neck and the back, all the way down to the bottom of my foot on the left side. And it was just amazing, and it just continues to go on and on and on. And there was some pain, and then after a week, it just continued after that. But I wrote it up the next morning early. I wrote it on the Facebook page Braco, and I wanted to share. And I was standing for the straight to camera gaze live stream gaze from Braco, waiting for it. And Jane was introducing Braco and talking about Braco, and she had her cell phone, and she said, and I'm going to start bringing the live streaming audience in. And she started to say, so I have this posting from the Facebook, and she said, Patrice sent this in. And it was so incredible to be standing there and have her connect me into this in such a deep way that all of a sudden it's like my name was said right then and there in Hawaii, and I'm in Pasadena, California, and I melted more and more, and it just continues to be that. And now I can't tell you how grateful I am. Yeah, I'm so grateful for all. And there is not one part of Braco that doesn't bring some shifts and changes. I mean, reading the book, DVDs, and I use the covers, and I have pictures, and I put the covers on the pictures, and I sleep with the cover of a DVD. I take my DVDs and put them in a separate container so that
lots of stories of healing through this. Yeah.
Yes. And I sleep with a DVD cover. It's regulated my sleep patterns. And my sunset, I have it.
Beautiful star.
I know. And it's given me strength in my lungs. And I'm just so, I can say thank you to all that has a part in this. And I consider it like a blessed lifetime.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Patricia. We'll see. Patrice. My honor to hear your story again. Thank you. What's your first name?
Janice.
What would you like to share?
Well, a piece of magic, maybe.
Okay.
One of the pieces of magic was when this is my second time to come to see him, and the last time was probably maybe a year ago when he was here in LA, here at the Marriott.
Yes.
And I had come, I think I had signed up for 2 sessions, and I left after the 2 sessions, and I had seen that they had the water for sale. I don't know if they have it for sale this time, but before they had the water for sale that had the star symbol on the water. And I got in I had parked some distance away. I didn't park at the hotel. I parked on the street, and I was a few blocks away. And I got to my car, and something said, go back and get some water. And it's like, really? You want me to walk all the way back there to get some water? Yes. Go back and get some water.
Wow.
And so I said, okay, I'll go back and get some water. And I hadn't brought much cash with me, but I looked at my purse, and it's like I had $8 or $9 or something like that. Okay, I'll go get that much water. So I'm walking back. As I'm walking down the sidewalk, Braco is walking towards me. He was on a break.
Wow.
And I didn't say anything, and I didn't really stop because I felt that I wanted to give him the respect of his time to be. But he hesitated when he got right up to me, and I hesitated, and he gazed at me for a few minutes, and it was wonderful.
What did it feel like?
It just felt like another place in time.
Wow.
Really beautiful and really...
Listen, what wonderful water you received.
So I did go back and get the water.
Yeah, my twin sister was here in June at this hotel when Braco came and trying to decide if they were ready to have one more child. They already had 4, and they weren't sure, and they decided to kind of leave it in Braco's hands, and lo and behold, they got pregnant that night in this hotel. So last night, I arrived at this hotel, and there was this double rainbow all of a sudden, and then I got a phone call that the baby was born. So he was born when Braco arrived at his hotel, and he was conceived when Braco was at this hotel. And they were listening to Braco's music in labor, and her husband was live streaming when she was in labor, and everything went great. So somehow this child is connected with Braco, and I'm happy to be here during this time.
What a great story. What's your first name?
Kelda.
And that's her story. That's great. And have you been doing this all day today?
I just started. This is my first one for the day.
Yesterday was my first experience. I streamed. My girlfriend called me over, and she's like, come here in 15 minutes. And I'm like, what am I doing? She goes, don't ask, just show up. I showed up, and I've been carrying this anger about my country and the politics and Monsanto and all of that, and I have not had any relief. And yesterday we did 3 streamings. I stared in the computer, and I went home, and I was in a state of bliss, and I've just like been able to take that angst.
What a relief.
The relief. I don't know if it's momentary. I don't care, but right now I'm back, and he's,
Welcome back. Is this your first time ever seeing him in person?
I can't wait.
Oh, wow.
I hope he stares at me more than anyone.
First name?
Mary. Hi. Okay, so I'll tell you 2 little things of my first. So I was at Agape service when I first, and a couple of friends of mine showed up that I didn't expect, and they're like, oh, we're going to see Braco. He's a gazer, and I'm an energy worker and a healer, and I was like,
oh, you were?
Yeah, I mean, I am. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna, no, not another thing, but anyway, so Michael Beckwith brought Braco up on stage at the end of
I heard about that.
service, and so we did that, and then we went to lunch, and I felt so different. When I went to lunch, I felt so grounded in a different way. I decided, you know what, I'm going to come back in the afternoon and do another session with him. So I did, and a friend of mine was about to lose his property, which is his entire life investment in a foreign country. The bank was going to take over the community where this property was. He was going to lose the entire thing. And I felt so bad for him, and I prayed so hard while Braco was gazing. And 2 hours later, he found out from his lawyer, called him, and he still has his property, and he's one of the only people that somehow managed to keep his property. I consider that amazing.
That's a great story. What do you want for yourself today?
Oh, I mean, just think about it. I'm not sure how to language it, but I think because I'm an energy worker, I'm really, I would say, and I'm an actor, I've become so sensitive to energy. I think my main thing is to really command my own energy field so that I can be less open to information at times, and also stay senior in my space energetically so that I can navigate my life a little bit with more clarity and power. So.
Comfort, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable and overwhelming at times, and it's hard as an actor too, because the milieu for the most part is pretty low level of consciousness, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way.
I understand.
I just mean it has a tendency to kind of be high school. Not all of it, but a lot.
Drama.
Yeah, a lot of drama, and ego. So whatever, I need to be really strong because I get serious challenges, and it's not just on a exchange level on the surface. We're talking when you become sensitive to energy, you are sensitive to a lot of other games going on that can be a little off-putting. That's all.
For those of you who are listening to your interviews after you have given them, I thank you for participating and sharing the magic of the healing of Braco. And this is Dr. Carol Francis signing off on our radio show, but I will continue to be recording. And bless all of you. I hope the Braco energy extends to you through this means and effort. The best of care and love to you.